do you have a like a sort of a time frame in which you test? Like my question as a marketer is always like, how long should you pursue something before you drop it? Like, is there a threshold? Is there something you guys decided to, you know, as a sort of a threshold, or is it like for each campaign you kind of decide for each case, like a case by case thing?
Brilliant question, which lots of
Thank you.
marketeers indeed try to answer. I would probably say that there is no time frame. It really is a question about, do you want to get statistical results or directional results? Yeah, so the way I decided to approach this question is in the following way. So if I think that the test or the experiment is going to have a high impact, then I'm trying to achieve a statistical result. When it comes to statistical results, you need to do a power analysis beforehand, and the power analysis dictates how much time do you have to spend on the experiment. And the time also depends on how many users you need to to approach with the experiment to get the statistical results. So I can give you two examples here. In September, we ran a comms test, which lasted for a month only, 4 weeks. Now we are running a churn experiment where we are trying to reduce churn, and it's actually going to run 3 months. And everything was set up through power analysis, which dictated how long it's going to take. But this is for statistical significant results. Sometimes there are cases when we don't need to know that this specific result has 100% impact. Sometimes you just want to know if, oh, maybe it's going to work, maybe it's not going to work, you know? So in this case, you need directional results. Here, you don't need to wait for 3 months or to run a power analysis, yeah? Usually what you do here, you say, for example, I want to see if it's worth investing into a more complicated experiment dedicated to Facebook, as an example. Yeah, should I put money behind Facebook ads or not? In this case, you put, for example, $500 behind your ads, and say, I'm going to run it, like, I don't know, a test for 2 weeks and see what's going to be the initial results. If there is a slight positive impact on the results, then you say, okay, there is something we could think about. Maybe we should put a business case forward to actually put more money behind it. Other situations, for example, are when you just decide how many people you want to target. So, for example, we had a big conversation with the data scientists last year. It was a big difference of mindset. So the data scientists are always going to want to have statistical results. We actually wanted to push for speed. The data science experiment was focused on reactivation, and their suggestion was to run it for 3 months, which was very long for us. We actually wanted to get the results in 1 month. And we were like, okay, let's try target 2,000 people, 1,000 in one group, 1,000 in a different group. And then we can decide afterwards what's going to happen if we already have any feeling that this is going to work. And the feeling usually comes from experience. Have you done something like this before? Do you really need to do every single time a significant test to prove your feeling or not? So basically, I've been talking a lot here, but the summary is, it really depends if the test is going to have a very big impact, and if you've done similar things before, and if you're short on time or not. So if you really think that's going to have impact, go for significant tests, and this is where you have to stick to timings. But if you want to test something very quickly now, or if you've done something before, or you think that you're a quick one, for example, 1 month, run the test and be happy about it. Also really depends on the audience as well. Like if you have only 3 people coming to your website on a monthly basis, maybe it's not the right thing to do it during a month, but make sure that you have some numbers in place, at least 2,000 people for an A/B test to run something.
Thank you so much. I think it's if I can maybe kind of not recap, but add some kind of explanation or some my bit on it, and you correct me, but I think it's very important to know what you're trying to achieve with a test, and make sure that your test is going to be relevant and you're going to actually learn something from it. Because so there's not really an answer, right? Like there's not really an answer like you should test this for 2 months or 3 months, or it really depends on, are you going to actually learn something from it, and do you have a clear KPI in mind that you want to test for? Can you maybe sum it up this way, or is it far from what you meant?
It is the way you say it, and it would have been perfect if everyone thought like this. But in a situation where you work, for example, in a big company like I do, you're going to encounter people that think differently. So how are you going to make a case to go with your approach when someone else thinks differently? And usually this is a problem between like data scientists and growth managers. Like me as an example, like as a growth manager, you want to move faster sometimes, and you're happy to sacrifice things, whereas the data science person is never going to be able to sacrifice things like that. So I think it's down to the growth mindset. So as a growth person, your approach is brilliant. How do you make the case for your growth mindset elsewhere? And it's probably the role of the leader of the organization to actually push for the growth mindset, because it has to be developed among the teams that, hey guys, it's not always only white or black. You have to think outside these colors as well, and try to find the best approach for that certain situation based on KPIs, needs, and so on and so forth.